Hey my friends, this is a review for the Onoleo Rav Drum in B. And this is a scale that I find particularly magical, and I think there's a lot of potentials in playing it. However, this one is a very, very particular scale. This one is best suited for solo playing. I do have a couple links to songs that I've played with other people with this, but where it's a harmonic minor scale with really 3 half steps, there's a lot of room for error in beginner players. So I would recommend this for people who have a little more experience with music and just feel a little more comfortable finding their way around a Rav. There are plenty of chords available to it, but you just have to be a little more creative in where you're playing, and I'm going to show you some of those chords and also show you the playing style that I find the most useful on it. There are players who don't play this way, but this is what I've found to be helpful in approaching this. And also I'll talk about what chords I use in another song to produce something that's suitable to listen to and not too dark. So let's take a look at the Onoleo B Rav Drum. These are the notes starting from the bottom of the Onoleo scale. Ding is B. The notes with the octaves and the fifth as well, and other harmonics. This one has a really good ding area above it that's producing the B octave. So you can get a really good back and forth playing with that. Next one. Now, something you may notice on this scale is a little bit of interference between notes. So when I'm playing the bottom note of this scale, you can almost hear another thing besides the octave of that. This is the octave up here. There's another note resonating, and it's the one next to it. And the reason why this is happening, this is a half step apart. So through sort of a sympathetic dissonance rather than resonance, this one is also ringing. So again, this is it without me covering this. And this is with me covering this one. It's a much more clean sound. And the same goes for this one too. And it's because of this you see people like Nadashana, when he's demonstrating it for his website where he sells them, covering it up as he's playing. And I've tried putting magnets over it, I've tried different things, but it limits you when you have to cover up one of these. So I really just deal with the dissonance. However, it does stop you a little bit from using this as your root note. Usually when I play, I pick one note and then move it around in a chord progression to change the key that I'm playing in. And because these two notes don't sound great played by themselves, I typically avoid them as root notes. That doesn't mean you can't use them, but just what I do to work around this problem. On the newer Onoleos, they've actually corrected this, supposedly, by turning the tongues at slight angles, 11 to 30%, I think, of an angle from there. I haven't played the new one. This is a 2017 model, but it's an early 2017 model. So the new ones might have less of this dissonance, so it would be worthwhile looking around and seeing if you can find someone who has one of those. But I think, for the most part, all of them are going to have a little bit of dissonance. It kind of adds to the mysteriousness of the scale. I don't think it sounds bad, but it's different than other Ravs that don't really have that intense dissonance. Just means there's more to avoid in terms of movement. Next, I'm going to show you the way I usually approach this Rav. And I approach this Rav almost on a single note basis. So I'm keeping a chord, but then I'm moving around. So I'll give you an example of that. Now, some of the chords available on this particular Onoleo scale are the bottom two notes, the first and the third note, the second and the third note, the fifth and the third note, the second and the fifth, and also the third and the fourth. And then from that point on, it's the same going up. So to make this more of a harmonic minor scale, you would hit ding, first note, third note, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth. It's a little more major sounding. It's almost a harmonic minor scale, but it has a sort of major feel. As opposed to Now, just to review, of all the scales to purchase, this one would not be my recommendation for new players. Again, it's a beautiful scale. It's one of my favorite scales too. However, it's the least accessible in terms of dissonant notes or dyads. You have very few triads available to you. You generally have to be mindful of where you're playing on it. If you can't hear the dissonance, then I suppose you're all set. But I have perfect pitch, so it kind of bothers me when things are clashing, unless it's on purpose. That being said, this is an amazing scale for playing along with the djembe players, for playing along with people who know their way around a fretboard on a guitar. Again, I'll link below to a song that I'm playing on this with a baritone guitar that's actually tuned in B. So there's ways of working around it. You just have to be playing with people who are familiar with chord progressions and have some sense of, how to accommodate this scale. So in conclusion, it's a great scale. It's one best suited for fast playing and also for kind of single note playing rather than forming partial chords. I have a couple songs, vocal songs with this, and I have a bunch of other very intense rhythmic songs played with djembe players and various other people. So if you like the Middle Eastern sound, you're okay with dealing with a couple half steps, 3 to be exact, then this is definitely your scale. It has a very mysterious feel, and it is just a really, really interesting offering from Rav. So if you're interested in this Rav or other ones, there's a link to purchase them below, and that link just helps me to earn a little bit as an affiliate for my own musical pursuits, and they cost the same. There's no price difference, just my name's attached to it. That's all. You order directly from Rav. So check that out if you're interested. Stay well, and look for a bunch more music coming in a couple weeks, and I have edible wild plant walks coming up Tuesday and Thursday every week for the next month or so. So be on the lookout for that. Stay well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.